Well, again, Ms. Swanson, is she here? Okay. How many employees would we have that would be participating in this program?
Christina Swanson, Human Resources Division Director of Employee Benefits and Risk Management. Sir, are you asking how many employees would have domestic partners that would participate?
In other words, if we offered this, how many would actually participate?
I would have no way of knowing that.
Okay. What would be the cost of the county of this?
Based on the underwriting estimates that we have received from our current vendor, when they would write new business for entities that have not had domestic partners in the past, that the cost could be as high as 1.25% increase in the total cost of the claims. If they administered it for us, there would be an additional administrative cost, but we do our own administration, so it would be additional administration on county benefit staff. We're projecting for 2009 a minimum increase of 12.5% in our healthcare cost if we go what medical trend is currently today. Our medical trend, our increase in healthcare, does not track the CPI, as you all know. It goes at 3 or 4 times the CPI. Currently we have about 15% of our gross domestic product allocated to healthcare. Is because it has been growing exponentially over the past 10 or 15 years, and actually 20 some years. So that if all things stayed the same and our experience stayed the same, we had no more catastrophic claims than we have this year, we would look at a 12.5% increase in our healthcare costs for FY10.
But just to interrupt, we don't, so we don't know how many people would participate in this program then?
No, we do not.
So truly we're relying on some figures out there as far as estimating what the cost of this county. So we truly don't know of what the impact would be to this county, because we really have no idea. We've never studied the issue, and we really don't know how many people would be participating then.
We can only go by the statistics that we have, that you've quoted yourself, that some of the people who have talked today have quoted. One of the speakers said it could be up to 2% cost in terms of what people have done it in the past. We would have no way of knowing what the cost would be until after we implement the benefit. Please keep in mind that we are currently self-funded, and that all the claims that are paid on behalf of our employees are paid by the county. We sometimes get confused between insurers' obligations and the county's obligations. The county made the decision back, I believe it was in 1992, to become self-funded for the many advantages that we have with self-funding, such as we do not have to pay state premium taxes, we do not have to pay the additional margins that insurance companies build in to make sure that they don't lose money on a plan. We get to keep our own reserves. As we know, we're not earning very much money on those reserves right now, but we do keep the reserves so that we can earn money on them and offset the cost. So that when we stay self-funded, if we decide to stay self-funded, the cost would be totally the county's cost. If there were additional costs, we would have paid them, and basically all the projections that we have seen say that costs can be up to 1.5, 2% of the total cost, which for us next year on a conservative estimate would be an additional $1 million. And that cost is split between county payments and employee payments. The employees pay roughly 30% of the cost of the health care, and our retirees pay 100% of the cost of the health care. So that when we look at our benefits, we have to look at how much costs are passed along to the employees. And I know many of you hear from the retirees every year when we have to raise the retiree cost, as we've had to do. So this is not just county money, this is employee money that goes into it.
So, but still, truly, really, we wouldn't know unless what the cost would be unless they came back from the insurers with an RFP. So it's, again, it still boils down to that we really don't even know the costs. So I guess my question is that, is this really a cost issue? Or are we afraid that when we go back to explore this, that maybe it would come back and those costs would be so mundane, and then we would have to face and talk about another issue about why we don't want to extend these same benefits? I just don't understand how we can intelligently talk about costs when we don't even know what those costs would be without doing a study. And I really think back around some of those times where commissioners have been ahead of their time to bring about ideas, like around transportation. 10 years ago, had we as a board had the vision to go forward and really address transportation, we probably would have had transportation by now. And I agree that infrastructure is important. I agree all of those things are key and essential. I'm just saying that all these other counties and government agencies are offering this. They're not going financially bankrupt. The Fortune 500 companies are offering this. There must be something there. So what are we so afraid of just looking at this and studying it? Are we concerned that we might find that this could be a benefit, and then again we have to open up a whole nother can of worms that maybe we don't even want to go there and provide another reason why we don't want to extend these benefits? So again, I'm not asking today for you to approve the benefits. And in fact, I want to make a clarification that if this motion doesn't pass, are we saying that any of us would have the directive to allow staff to further study this issue at another time, because it was made to me that we couldn't even talk and study this issue because of a past board's decision. So I need clarification on that point.